Hello, today to Bred Talk number 4. We have today the topic will be one of the most important things, the bulk fermentation.
Oh yes.
My always what I say is, if you fail in the bulk fermentation, there is no mercy.
I think also that there are two very big reasons for which you can fail with a dog. One, a bad sourdough, a bad starter, used not in the right moment, or I don't know, with not a feeding reason which is good, and a bad bulk fermentation. These are the two reasons for which you can get a bad result. The rest can be only if you burn it, or I don't know, but these two are
Yeah,
the main reasons for which you don't get a good bread.
definitely sometimes people think I make a shorter bulk fermentation and a longer final proof, and then I can fix it. But for my experience is, first of all, you have to understand the difference between a bulk fermentation from only sourdough bread, from a hybrid sourdough bread. Hybrid sourdough bread can be sourdough plus yeast, can be sourdough in combination with Polish, or another pre-dough which is powered by commercial yeast.
Yeah, but normally people are doing sourdough bread, and here is the
Yeah, but also a lot of people they add a minimum
yeah.
small amount of yeast because they are afraid that the sourdough maybe is not good enough, and they add like 1 gram
And you know
two
where I
gram of
think
yeast.
is the misunderstanding in the online? If you look in 90% of the recipes of the bread, they say make a bulk fermentation until it's doubled. But nobody say which temperature. Nobody. But this is the general what they give when you look around. Make a how long I make a bulk fermentation until it's doubled. That's the most of the recipes saying.
I saw also many recipes they are saying make a bulk fermentation increasing the volume 30%. I think the increasing the volume first of all depends on the flour. I cannot make with a very weak flour. I cannot
Yeah.
make a 100% bulk fermentation.
Exactly when they say until it's doubled, but they don't give the rest, the rest of the information, which temperature, which flour, which. That's the thing, and people take it like it is, and then they fail.
Yeah, sometimes it's also like this. They see recipes maybe in Facebook done in United States, and then they get the information bulk fermentation
Europe.
long like this, but American flour is way different than a European flour. Yeah, the wheat is totally different.
And how you explain them, how they understand the bulk.
The bulk fermentation, I think, to understand, it starts first of all observing your sourdough. When we feed our sourdough with the flour which we feed the sourdough, we can observe very well how long the sourdough stays on the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I have a very short peak, and it goes down very quick, then I know this flour is not very strong to do this. If I have a flour which can keep the peak very long, this means it's also very it's very stable for the bread. Yeah. Here's the decision. The most of the people think the holy grail is using Manitoba. Manitoba is
Oh yeah. That's a subject.
Manitoba is yeah, this is salvation for everything. Yeah, and there are some people that are successful with Manitoba. There are other people that are not so successful because Manitoba is a very strong flour, and when you work with a very strong flour, then you have also to go with a bulk fermentation to a point which maybe you cannot imagine, which maybe you have not in your you consider maybe 4 or 5 hours bulk fermentation, maybe 6 hours. Yeah, but maybe with a flour strong like this, or with a real American flour which has a W from 450. Even in Panama, we have the flour is also the W is way higher. We figure
Yeah.
out now, like we were thinking, because it's American wheat. Why it's so high can have different reasons. First of all, we don't know the wheat is manipulated. We have no idea about it. Then in United States, in tropic countries, you will have always ascorbine acid inside. It has not to do with that they put a lot of ascorbine acid inside to get open crumb.
Also in the organic flour?
No, in the organic flour,
The organic.
it's not allowed. But we have no organic flour here, for example, in Panama, that is imported from the United States. And how organic this is, also we don't know. Yeah, I let this like this. But going back to this, that in these tropical countries, in these hot countries, you have to have ascorbine acid inside for storaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, not because the mill is behind that the clients get open crumb. They put ascorbine acid inside for the storaging because they are from the law obligated. You import a flour from Europe to United States, you will be, like you will be also obligated to put ascorbine acid inside and maybe anything else. I don't know the rules exactly. But this means you buy a flour which you know maybe from the supermarket, a Caputo flour from Italy, and you use it in United States.
It's totally different.
It cannot be the same flour because everybody who ship anything from Europe to United States, he has to put anything inside. And if you put ascorbine acid inside, we make it's vitamin C. It makes the gluten, it makes the flour strong. Remember, in Austria, we was putting acerola powder inside in the flour,
Yeah.
and we was winning from W240 until going to 270. Yeah, we made the gluten also stronger because it's a natural way to do it. Yeah, and here's finally.
How important is the temperature in which you make?
The temperature is important for the developing. When we take out the dough in a temperature range between 24 26 degrees for developing, and then also for bulk fermentation, I guess it's a good range. If it's a little bit warmer, then okay, the dough gets a little bit more sticky when it comes to the end. When we have now the doubling of the volume, then the dough is a little bit more sticky. It's a little bit more difficult to handle. I prefer to have it at 24, 26 degrees and to wait a little bit longer. Of course, it takes a little bit longer, but yeah, this is not so much what makes the difference.
I think it's important also if you mix by mixer or maybe other people are mixing by hand.
Yeah, okay, here we are again with a kneading part,
No, that if they knead by hand, they don't get warm.
Of course,
the
dough temperature. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was a misunderstanding. Yeah, of course, when you knead by hand, you get the dough get not so warm. But to understand the bulk fermentation is to feel the dough, to observe after the dough is doubling the volume. You put the dough on the table, and then you have to feel the stability.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is experience. This kind of experience. When you put the dough on the table and each kind of movement, you see that the dough cannot resist. Then you are already in over fermentation. When you touch the dough like touching like a pillow,
Yeah.
and you can feel
That it stays, the side stays.
Yeah, that it's
firm.
strong and it's not sticky at all. Then you see, okay, I can go further with the bulk fermentation. Yeah. And then what we have always in the mind is when, of course, when we give yeast to the dough, we have a sourdough bread, we add from maybe 1 gram or 2 grams of yeast because we are scared that our sourdough is not strong enough. A lot of home bakers do this, and they think, I put only 1 gram or 2 gram of yeast, and it has no influence. It has a huge impact because the yeast bacteria is over the long fermentation.
They multiplicate. That's
They
the
multiplicate.
most important property of the yeast. They multiplicate.
Yeah, then we can say, okay, in the bulk fermentation, maybe the 1 or 2 gram of yeast, you don't feel so much. Yeah, but in the final product, you have finally a yeasted bread.
Yeah, because it's more yeast
And
than...
especially in Germany, I see this in many blogs from home bakers. They put a recipe inside, and always they have this. I put always this option inside to put a little bit yeast inside, and they think it makes the things more safe, but finally it's not a. In my opinion,
It's not a sourdough.
people are fighting about this, but in my opinion, it's not a sourdough bread at all. Yeah, because when you put a small amount of yeast, it develop, it multiplicate, get more and more, and it takes over, and the texture is different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the bulk fermentation, which also to understand, for example, we want to make a product like a baguette. Let's make a sourdough baguette. We are not friend of sourdough baguette, but a lot of people like sourdough baguette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the bulk fermentation, I have to see the time window what I have. The time window is the window from kneading until finishing the product to have it in the optimum time in the oven. This means if I make a bulk fermentation like with a bread which I put shaped in the fridge, with a baguette it don't work. Because I put 4 hours, 5 hours bulk fermentation, then I put it in the fridge. In the morning I take it out, I divide it, and then I shape it, and then I put it in the oven. It's already over fermented.
Yeah.
Only the flour is very good, or very strong. Yeah, but normally my way is with a middle range of flour, I go 2.5 hours. Also a little bit depending on the size of the dough, I go to the fridge, and in the morning I make an acclimatization from an hour, then I make a pre-shape, another hour, and then I make my baguette. Yeah, like this. Also, it has enough time developing dough strange in the cold fermentation. And the other thing is when we are working with pre-doughs like Polish, a lot of sourdough together.
Yeah.
Then depends how much pre-dough we are using to calculate the bulk fermentation. This is a little bit difficult because it depends on the fresh flour amount what we have inside. If we have let's say more than 50% fresh flour inside, then we need a different kind of bulk fermentation than when we use like in our Lego method, where we have a lot of pre-dough inside, a very little flour, fresh flour. Here we don't need a bulk fermentation. We need only a relaxing time.
Yeah.
These kind of things.
Because the most of the dough is already fermented.
Yeah, everything is fermented. It means we need only the fresh flour incorporate to relax, and then we can go ahead. But if we have, for example, we have 1 kilo of flour and we have a Polish with 400 grams, means I have 200 grams of flour, 200 grams of water. This means I have 800 grams of fresh flour inside. Here, with this dough, I have to triple also. I have to triple the volume. Why I have to triple? Because a commercial yeast bread, which I bake in the same day, I treat different than a sourdough bread. Yeah, it's very difficult, of course. Also in a bread talk like this we do now, we cannot explain everything each stage, because there we have Polish, we have biga, we have sponge, we have pasta di riporto, we have sourdough.
It's only to bond them together, actually. It's not fermenting after. It's not a bulk after.
Yeah, if you work like we work with a lot of pre-dogs, you put them together, you develop the dog, you let him rest like an hour, and then actually you don't need any kind of bulk fermentation more because it's all done. But if we add a pre-dog like like in 20%, like we make a sourdough bread. A sourdough bread had normally between 20-25% sourdough,
Yeah.
let's say average. There are, of course, exceptions. We put 50 or 60% of sourdough and this kind of thing. Let's say average
Yeah.
sourdough bread has between 20-25% of sourdough inside. This can be also Polish. You did last time a bread in
Yes.
the same way, like a sourdough
exactly.
bread, only with a Polish.
Yes.
The same amount. What was all the same? The fermentation time was the same.
Exactly the same.
Was all the same. Only the flavor was a little bit more.
You was not feeling the sourness.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because the commercial yeast makes it more neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some lactic bacteria, but very less because from the fermentation. Yeah. Anything, but not like in the sourdough, because in a sourdough they are developing in time. That sourdough it gives the taste of the sourdough.
I remember also when we was measuring between a Polish bread and a sourdough bread, the pH is totally different. The pH from a Polish bread is much higher,
of course,
than from a sourdough bread. What was interesting to see is the amount. The question was why you did it. You did it because you wanted to see what is the big difference using 20% of Polish or using 20% of sourdough.
No difference, only in the taste.
In the taste and in a little bit in the structure.
Yes, but the structure was and keep in mind that it was a no kneading bread. I mean, I was making
Yeah,
it
but
only...
the structure of the crumb was typical yeasted.
Yes,
It was not the
but this is a solution for a person who don't want or who don't have time to raise a sourdough, but still can get a low fermentation bread, because that's
to take out the food maps and all this kind of things for digestion.
To destroy the gluten protein, so when they eat it, it's already...
Yeah, for digestion.
Anyway, it's much better than what they get from the supermarket.
Yeah, they definitely.
And believe me, there are a lot which don't want to make sourdough because they don't have time, they don't want, but they want to make
they cannot take care about.
So that was my solution, and that's why I came to you these days and I said, tell me if I make a bread with a Polish exactly like with a sourdough, it works.
Yeah, of course. What you can also do is you can put in the Polish a little bit whole flour inside.
Yes, then of course, but considering that I wanted to show to some beginners, I did not want to put them in this.
Yeah, no, it's only when we are talking about you want a little bit more flavorness, a little bit more, then you can put a little bit whole flour inside, a little bit raised flour inside.
Yes.
You can
but the
bulk fermentation was 4 hours.
It was the same, everything was the same
like this.
And the dough was perfect, it was not sticky, and the flour was a commercial flour from the supermarket. It was not I don't know what kind of Manitoba it was okay.
Yeah, this is the same. It's really reading the bulk fermentation in.
It comes with time, with experience.
Yeah,
I think
it's always checking how it stays on the table, how you feel it. There is a stickiness. There is two different kinds of stickiness. We have a stickiness because the dough is very hydrated, or we have a stickiness because
it's not developed the gluten.
It's not not about not developed. It's the fermentation is maybe too far. Yeah, then also it starts to sticky. Sometimes we have a bread in the fridge, and we want to cut it in the morning, and then I can feel like the blade sticks now to the dough, because in the final proof in the fridge, it goes over my time window what I have. Yeah, this is the key points where you have to look. And if you are not sure about your flour, start with 50% volume then make a final proof. Then you can see how it goes. And last time we was working with a bioflower from Austria. Actually, this was also a little bit tricky because the W is maybe also on the 220, 240, but it could resist also 4 hours bulk fermentation. In the morning it was a little bit difficult, but still it was working out very well. Yeah, but the bulk fermentation, mostly when you work with 20% sourdough in 24, 26 degrees, we are talking about 5 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, this is my experience. Yeah, even here in 28, 30 degree, we are working 5 hours, 5 hours. But of course, we are going further. Yeah, we had also Bred, which we was like
Yeah, we
maybe
also fail.
maybe losing over the time. Yeah, this is going to when we are talking about fermentation. I think furtherwise, the future, I want to make maybe an episode only about talking about sourdough bread, and then talking about the different work with different kind of pre-doughs. Yeah, because we are not, let's say, I think it's not forbidden to use also kind of pre-dough which are yeasted, commercial yeast. And if you don't like commercial yeast, you can use bio yeast,
Yes,
you
of
can
course.
fruit fodder, you can use.
And I think also these persons who they like sourdough bread, there are two reasons which they like. Either they were never eating a hybrid one with Polish, either they don't let themselves to admit because they are, they are persons which put ahead yeast because it's not good, and they don't want to accept yeast because it's not okay. So even if it's better in the taste, they don't say it's better because it's with yeast.
Yeah, it's
But
many
it's the choice of everybody. We don't judge nobody. Everybody can do how they want. It's not like, but definitely hybrid baguette. It's way much
yeah,
better.
this has to do, I think, with the shape, and we are.
The bite is different.
Yeah, this is. You can rise your sourdough, do your sourdough in this way, yeah. But it's hard work. That it's very easy. Yeah, you have to keep the rhythm, the feeding rhythm very high. Yeah, to use it very young. This kind of things is not so easy, but it's possible. Yeah, for the bulk fermentation, the most important thing is to observe always these kind of things when you have also the container what you are using.
Exactly. This is also another
You have to observe how it rises in the container. You have
because
to mark it.
they put I see also
Maybe white
yes.
containers. Then you have to use maybe any glass where you put sourdough inside, where you mark, and you let it rise. This can be a small glass for a whiskey jar where you put a little bit inside, where you see how it rises to
Because in a bowl like this,
yeah, if it's white,
you cannot see.
yeah, or they are more tiny down, and then more white
And how
up.
you can see when it's doubled.
Yeah, these kind of things it's important. What you the equipment, what you use, it's very important. Yeah, and then in the bulk fermentation, it's also important that the dough develop the dough strange, which has to do with the kneading part, where we were talking also before about. I would say goodbye for today.
We have talking about bulk. We have a
We have
brioche.
we have also we have to go
I go to check
further
it.
on.
I'm glad you do.
We have a brioche in bulk fermentation, which we finish now, and I wish you a good night and see you for the next time.